Are you paralyzed by fear?
Are you indeed paralyzed by fear? Rest assured, for today I got your back. I will give you all the tips and tricks to be able to defeat the almighty Queen GNA herself, the trash talker. But before we do so, there is something GNA hates even more than you. It is the fact that I can soon reach 4,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and that will actually be the final nail in the coffin. She will dislike it to the max. So, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and let's dive into it. So, before we even start the fight, we need to make some preparations, and those include making sure we have full rage and full health before even going against GNA. It is very important. I'm going to tell you why later. Rage is so important in this fight if you don't want to get hit and die a quick death. But yeah, anytime, here's a little tip. Anytime you interact with a mystical gateway, they're going to replenish your health and your rage, which is a huge shield, which you can do whenever you're going against berserkers or whatever. Make sure you have your rage maxed out. And also, because the camera can be your biggest enemy in this game, you're going to make sure that you actually tweak those settings to your liking. The camera is poop. We're going to make it lesser poop. So I'm going to try. I think this works for me. Whenever I actually put it on auto target plus, is going to allow me to keep track of GNA whenever she runs off screen, which is very important because that's all she's going to do, disappearing and hitting you from the back. So we don't want that to happen, so make sure that you actually turn on that camera setting. And also keep in mind that this video is not going to be your typical how to defeat GNA. No, I'm actually giving you tips so that you can overcome everything she throws at you. I'm not going to give you one way to beat her so that then you struggle every time she does something else. No, I'm going to give you the tools to prepare in case she actually tries to mix you up or, make a fool out of you and then badmouth you. No, we say no. So my first tip when it actually comes to combat, and it applies to any single boss fight, by the way. Anytime you deal significant damage to enemies or just use multiple runic attacks in a row, well, they're going to, some little white icon is going to appear next to their health bar. And whenever that happens, it means that the boss gains super armor. And what that means is that you can no longer stagger them. At least, you can, but it's going to be very difficult. They won't respect anything you do, and that's the moment where you have to be very careful about whatever you want to attempt. And that's usually when you don't pay attention, you use your rank attack, and then the boss ends up hitting you. So you want to always be sure you keep an eye on that health bar to make sure that you're not actually risking performing a move which is dangerous. And speaking of dangerous moves, listen, it is very important that you never, ever perform a move you can't cancel, can't parry, or dodge out of. The reason why I say that is because this fight is very peculiar. Just like the berserkers, you're going to chase after GNA, and if you perform a move you can't, cancel, well, she's going to start her animations because, again, remember, sometimes she may not get staggered and she may start her animations even though you are hitting her. When that's the case and you have to commit to a single skill, she can kill you in that instant. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty and you learn that the hard way. You can die in 2 hits and sometimes even in 1 hit. So you really want to be careful not to throw punches or blades or axes just for the sake of doing so. You want to make sure that everything you do is somehow and somewhat safe. And since I mentioned chasing after her, well, listen, GNA is kind of a cow, and she knows that stun meter is all you're after. So whenever he's about to get full, she's going to start running around like a rabbit, and you have to chase after her because if you don't, that bar is going to go down so fast. So we don't want that to happen, obviously. We're going to chase after her, but there are certain rules we must observe. So sometimes she may just leap across the field and there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to wait there and see what she's about to do. But sometimes she will just slowly back away. And when she does that, that's when you want to... I prefer using the blades because they have a decent reach. And if you actually attack her while she's backing away, she may not do certain moves. That's what we want. We don't want her to do certain moves which just waste our time. No, we don't want that to happen. So when it's actually jumping around like a rabbit, yeah, we hit her with the blaze, but when she's jumping back twice, that's the thing. If you actually failed to hit her while she's backing away, hold on, don't do anything reckless, because that's when she actually tries to punish you. When she actually backed away twice, and she's farther, like so far away that you cannot hit her. Do not commit to anything just yet. So here's the thing. GNA is not strong, but she has some cheap tricks you can fall for which are very damaging, and every time that happens, it's never because you missed a parry. No, it's because you overcommitted to one move when you shouldn't. And when I say that you don't want to recklessly chase after her, you want to be careful, because sometimes if you feel like she's just out of reach, do not commit, because chances are you 2 feet away from her and you hear the word submit. You dead. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. You dead, because you're way too close to react, and she's already started the animation. And unless you're very, very fast and actually able to trigger your rage, you're dead. That's why you don't want to chase after her recklessly, but you do want to chase after her, because if you don't, the fight is going to just go on and on and on, and that's not what we want. No, we want it to be ended fast. Yeah, so chase after her, but chase, mindfully, please. And since I mentioned missing those parries, listen, sometimes you may suck. Sometimes you may blame it on the Dauntless Shield, but we all know that you missed that parry. But here's the thing, you don't have to die from it. So whenever you actually miss a parry, you can just quickly, very quickly, trigger your rage so that he actually staggers. It's going to 100% is going to stagger the boss. It's like the get out of jail card you have every single step of the way. That's why you really want to make sure that you have rage ready to go anytime. Because if you miss a parry, or you feel like she's about to do something you cannot block or avoid, use your rage. It works every single time. You don't have to suffer, you don't have to be punished for something for a simple parry. Like, why would you throw away 2 minutes of a fight just because you missed a parry? No, use your rage. Every single time you feel like you are in a bad spot, I mean, maybe you're against the wall and there's not enough space to dodge, trigger your rage. It's going to help you every step of the way. Please do that. So now let's actually talk about her movesets and how to avoid getting hit by all her bullshit. So first thing first, you may have noticed that her health bar is divided in tiny bars, actually 10 of them. And depending on how much damage you deal along the fight, she's going to alter her moves. Keep that in mind, because if you actually get familiar with one move and then you feel like it's going to remain that way for the entirety of the fight, she's going to kill you. So just keep in mind that first I think you have to, whenever you actually take away 2 bars of her health, she's going to change her moves, and then I think you need to remove 4 more bars or something. But hey, it doesn't matter. Just keep in mind those moves are going to change along the fight. One common combo she may perform, especially at the beginning of the fight, is that combo where she starts with 2 fast attacks. Those ones can be dodged or just blocked. You cannot parry them. But then she may end that combo string with 1 move which can only be blocked or parried. You cannot, no matter how much you try to dodge it, you will get hit. So whenever she actually does that, just block or parry. Or she may decide to end that combo string going backwards and then throwing something at you. That one is unblockable and you have to get out of the way. Right? Keep that in mind. Either she's going for the one you can parry, or she's going for the one you have to dodge. But sometimes, I mean, it will happen. Whenever she actually goes backwards, at first, that's it. She ends there. But because she's going to alter her move, whenever she actually goes back and you attack her, she's going to follow up with that one move which is only parryable or blockable. Keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind and you will be fine. It's not a big deal if you know what's coming. And I'm going to tell you more about what's coming because there's a lot coming. Next, she's going to do that attack where she summons Bifrost beams out of the sky, out of fucking nowhere. It doesn't matter. But she's going to summon some Bifrost beams, and those themselves can kill you instantly if you stay there. So hey, don't stay there. Either go left or right. Don't just go backwards, you're going to die. Maybe, probably, definitely. So no, go sideways. But then there is that little 50-50 game where you don't know what she's going to do next. But here's the thing, you can predict 100% what she's going to do next. Listen, Whenever she is done summoning those Bifrost beams, which linger by the way, she's going to go either left or right. Keep in mind that whenever she goes left, she's going to come at you to perform that wing thrust attack, which is an unblockable attack. You have to dodge out of the way. Easy, right? You just step backwards or just roll, doesn't matter, you're going to be fine. That's the case whenever she goes right, after the beam, the Bifrost beam, and she goes right, she's going to go to do the shield thrust, right? Easy. And now, whenever she goes left, she's going to A. There are two instances there. She's going to A, come at you and do that double shield attack, right, which you can just block or dodge in between if you feel very confident. If you have big balls, you can just dodge in between the wing attacks. Or she may just leap backwards and then do that one thing again, where she just throws that unblockable throw, just like the one she did in the previous combo string. Remember that one? Yeah, if you did, then good, because she can also follow that throw the same way, just like before, by performing that one move, which is only blockable or parryable. It all comes back together like a full circle. So if you listen, you'll be able to read her like a book. Even more, like she doesn't even deserve to be a book, like a cover of a book. So listen, she goes right, she's going to do the red wing thrust attack. Easy. When she goes left, then she can only perform those, not only, but most of the time, definitely going to perform the double wing attack or go backwards and throw something at you. Keep that in mind and you won't die. Sometimes she may leap into the air and go for a dive kick. Well, we have two cases here. The first dive can be a regular attack, which you can just dodge, block, or parry. But then the next one is kind of tricky because it has AoE, area of effect. It means that if you dodge too soon or too late, you're going to get hit by the aftermath. Not by the actual kick, but by the that effect created by the kick. So if you just want to dodge that red ring attack, you want to dodge sideways, but be very careful because sometimes, I don't know why, but it feels like Kratos is sucked into an enemy's attack. So if you don't put the correct settings or have the lock-on, sometimes having no lock-on helps for that one attack, because when you dodge, he may go to the side like you expect him to do, but some other times he may just go into the kick and then you die. So just be very careful, but usually dodging to the side is going to help you avoid getting hit altogether, and also avoid getting hit by the aftermath, like the AoE. But here's the thing, she may, depending on how much damage you've dealt to her, she may also follow that secondary dive kick by one move where she leaps into the air but slams the ground with a spear, which just randomly appeared out of her ass. I don't know where she found it, but there is a spear. So just keep in mind that she has variations to her moves, and the easiest way to dodge being hit by the dive kick is to just go sideways, and then you should be fine. And I know this next one, it gives people some trouble. It still gives me some trouble sometimes when I panic. So listen, don't panic. don't. So whenever she actually shouts for Asgard, she's ready to just take off and land on you and snap your neck. And we don't want that to happen because it deals a lot of damage and you can die, especially if you were afflicted by Bifrost. Hey. Did I tell you that whenever you're actually afflicted by one status effect, popping your rage is going to get rid of it? Whether it's poison, fire, frost, or Bifrost, whenever you pop, your rage is going to get rid of any status effect you had at the moment. Keep that in mind. So, if you want to dodge her for Asgard attack, you want to wait for her to actually finish the sentence. When she's done saying for Asgard and you hear that D in Asgard, that's when you want to go to the side to dodge it. It's unblockable, you just have to dodge it, but if you panic, you may dodge too soon and then get hit. We don't want that to happen, so let her finish. Even when eventually she starts shooting beams right out of the sky and then she's still shouting, still follow the same rule. Let her finish the sentence, whatever, or the statement, and then you go to the side. You're going to see and yield great results. Don't panic, don't let her snap your neck, your thingy and your back, right? Don't. Also, like I said, she's a cow. She's going to run around, and the best way she can keep you away is by throwing projectiles at you. What a bitch. I have to say. Whenever I see that stand meter and she just starts throwing things and disappearing in the sky, I'm like, hey, what a bitch. Anyway, she has two projectiles she can throw at you. Some you can parry, some you can just block, because why would you be able to parry those? Like, why? So one you can just parry and one you have to dodge, and sometimes she may perform like 4 in a row just to be a bitch. It's fine. So whenever she's actually using 2 attacks, whenever she is done throwing 2 projectiles, always expect a red ring attack to follow. That's what she does. She's either going to the side to do a shield thrust, or she's just standing there waiting for you to come into something before throwing something you cannot dodge, you cannot parry, and catching you off guard. So whenever she's just standing in the middle and she's throwing things left and right, be ready for some red attack to come. She may even leap into the air to perform those for Asgard attacks. That's, again, I think not getting hit by the projectiles is easy, but I think you should always be able to expect a red ring attack to come after she's done throwing those projectiles. So she's going to punish your hastiness. You need to be a calm and reasonable person. So again, can you be a calm and reasonable person? Also, sometimes she may perform those blue rings attacks. You know, the ones where your companions shout, "Hey Kratos, use a shield strike!" You know those ones. So whenever she has 2 attacks like those, the first one is you have a lot of time to actually get to her. You can see it happen, so you should just go in, hit her a couple of times. That's the thing, you have time to hit her before she actually just hits the ground. But you do want to interrupt her because it deals a shit ton of damage. So yeah, that one is easy. And the other ones is also easy, where she's actually going to shield herself. The only problem I have with that attack is whenever you use flame whiplash with your blade, there is those lingering fire sparkles or something. And when those linger, they actually stagger and damage enemies. The problem with GNA is it's going to register as a hit. And if you hit her while she's shielding herself, she's going to release a shockwave, which is not good. So if, for example, you got hit whenever she was shielding herself and you were like, wait, I didn't attack her, pay attention. Maybe you use flame whiplash and that ended up triggering her retaliation. So be careful whenever you use flame whiplash, because she knows those things linger, and then that's when she's going to shield her. She's such a bitch, I have to say. So anyway, yeah, be cautious whenever she's doing her blue rings attack. You have way more time to actually go there and hit her before she eventually stamps the ground, and be very careful whenever you use flame whiplash. Also, she may once in a while perform those attacks which can be interrupted using the proper arrows. It could be a sigil arrow or a sonic arrow, but just keep in mind that you can just outrun those attacks. You don't have to try to dodge them, because it's very tricky to sometimes dodge them. They cover such a wide area that you may end up getting caught. But just keep in mind, you can just outrun that giant boulder, or you can just shoot at her. But don't panic, you have a lot. You can actually, what I do is I just run straight to her and hit her while my arrow is on cooldown, and eventually I just switch and hit her, which, by the way, she's going to be afflicted by the effect she was trying to apply to you, whether it's sonic or sigil. So she's going to be either afflicted by sonic or being hexed. So just keep that in mind. You have a lot of time. Don't panic if your arrows are on cooldown, and don't forget that you can just outrun those attacks even while you are below her. Just keep in mind that you can just run around and outrun the boulder. That's the thing. Also, sometimes, again, she may pull that random spear out of nowhere and try to hit you. Usually the first attack is always going to be an attack you can parry or block, but then she's going to most likely follow up with one attack you have to parry. But again, if you miss the parry, pop the rage as soon as you can. But then she's going to leap into the air and slam the ground with the spear. So here, what I found out: if you're too far from her whenever she is slamming the ground with the spear, it's going to create a shockwave that you have to parry. Like when you're too close to her, you pairing the spear attack, but when you're too far, you pairing the shockwave created by the spear. Keep that in mind, because depending on how far you are, sometimes you may not be able to parry the spear and you're going to get hit because, well, the shockwave actually hit you. So just be careful and just look out for, just be mindful of your distance and you should be fine for that one. Just do that. But some other times, if you decide to dodge the spear attack, because you can do that, you can, you can dodge every single thing she does can be dodged except the ones I told you cannot dodge. So again, it's up to you what your approach is, but just keep in mind that the shockwave can sometimes hit you if you're too far. And let's talk about that attack, that ridiculous grab attack whenever she shouts submit. That one is actually very easy to dodge if you're not 2 feet away from her, and all you have to do is just step aside. She's going to go in a straight line and come right at you, so if you just dodge sideways, you're good to go. And depending on how much damage again you dealt to her, she's going to perform 2 submit attacks in a row. I said she may do that. So if you actually deal more than 2 health bar worth of damage, do not try to attack her after the first submit. You're going to get hit or grabbed and die, and blame the game, the devs. No, it's you, it's just you. So whenever she actually tries to go for you and says submit, just go to the side, wait for her, or have your shield up if you can, because she can also do that attack where she spins, right? After the first submit, she can spin. That's when she actually opens up and starts mixing you up. Just be careful and just be ready for whatever's coming. It has to be some kind of variation for all those other moves you already saw. So just keep that in mind, that whenever she's performing the first submit move and already took away 2 health bars, she's going to follow up with potentially another submit attack or something else, which you have to be ready for. Often she may go for those swings with her wings. She goes left and then right, and usually you have to guess, not guess what she has to do, but she's most likely going to spin with her wings, and if you try to attack her, you're going to die. But I think if you want to be safe, whenever she actually goes for the swings, for the wing swings, she may go for 1 ring attack. I think 90% of the time she's going to do that. She rarely stops, so always expect a red ring attack when she's done swinging left and right, and you'll be fine. Sometimes she pulls yet another random weapon out of her ass and tries to hit you, but just keep in mind, she swings left, she swings right, maybe she spins upon herself, and how to expect her to use a red ring attack. Keep that in mind and you will be fine. Oh, and before I forget, sometimes, you know how sometimes she would throw those projectiles at you in a straight line? I'm not talking about the ones she throws with her wings left and right, no, I'm talking about the ones she throws at you with her hands, that unblockable throw. So sometimes it may be imbued with an elemental status, right? It could be poison, flame, fire, or just ice, frost. And when that happens, here's the thing: if you actually have something you can throw at her or interrupt her, she's going to be afflicted by her own weapon attack. Like, this is just great. So you have to, you can tell whenever she's actually about to do it, because the other one, she only does it when she's done throwing those things left and right. But that one, she's going to look at you in the eye and try to throw something at you, and you can tell, oh, that one I can interrupt her and actually make her be afflicted by her own attack, which is great. But if you fail to do so, then she may follow up by coming straight at you with the spear and that attack. I think that attack reminds me of Sigrun, because I think Sigrun also does that. So she's going to go and spin, and she's going to spin twice, and those 2 are attacks you need to parry, dodge, and that's it. You have to either parry or dodge, but I actually advise dodging out of the first one and then parrying the second one. That way you save, because I think even if you miss parry the first one, you might get hit by the second attack, even if you pop your rage. So she's going to throw her thing, and then she's going to come straight at you and perform that attack with SP where she spins upon herself and then tries to hit you twice. And that's the last thing. I think that's the last. I really think I covered everything there is to cover when it comes to GNA. If I didn't, then let me know, because I've beaten her several. Like she's mine. Like I own her. But sometimes she can still kill you if you don't follow the rules. If you overcommit and do those moves you shouldn't do, then she's going to catch you off guard and you're going to die. But I truly believe she's not that bad. It's up to you to choose your approach and to be mindful of her altered moves and never commit to something you cannot cancel. Very important. But I think you get this. Use your rage wisely. It is your best friend and it's going to help you every step of the way. And if there's something else you want to know, I'm here for you. Also, you need to choose the right build. Some builds won't work against her, and time is very sensitive. The longer the fight, the more you're prone to making a mistake, and we don't want that to happen again. So I want you to go out there and to slap that ass and to come and comment, hey, I did it, thank you. So, and also, yeah, subscribe to the channel. It's going to make me happy. It's going to make everybody happy. And yeah, also Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And just take it all. Thank you for watching the video. It was a long one and I had a lot to say, but thankfully it's going to help someone out there. And yeah, that's it. Bye bye.